I'm Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Drunken Monkey cocktail, which is the cocktail in today's episode. But please remember, I'm not a bartender. I only play one on the internet. Alright, first thing, I'm going to take a shaker. I'm going to fill it with ice. Okay, then we are going to add 6 ounces of pineapple orange juice blend. We're going to add 3 ounces coconut rum. One ounce spiced rum, and 4 or 5 shakes of bitters. Right. And we shake that for about 30 seconds. All right. Then we're going to pour that into 2 iced tumblers or 1 tall glass. I'm going with 1 tall glass. Then we add a couple teaspoons of cherry juice and let it settle to the bottom from a jar of maraschino cherries. So let's settle to the bottom. And we garnish with a lime slice, a pineapple wedge, and a cherry. The last step is to zest fresh nutmeg over the top and stir. I'm not that fancy, so I'm just going to use ground nutmeg. I'm going to put a little on there. And there you go. The Drunken Monkey cocktail. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So if you're ready, let's go. Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Karen, what is the Scary Spirits podcast exactly?
Well, Greg, Scary Spirits is a podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits. Join us as we discuss horror films while sipping themed adult beverages. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. What could possibly go wrong? So, Karen, what's our inaugural movie?
Our movie today is The Monster Walks, and I have to claim responsibility for picking this.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. Should I read the introduction?
Sure. What is this movie all about?
Okay, well, here's why I picked it. Well, I'll tell you why I picked it, but here's the introduction. A woman and her boyfriend return to her ancestral home for the reading of her father's will. They arrive at the old mansion during a storm to be greeted by her... Right, naturally. To be greeted by her strange uncle and a house full of suspicious characters. That all sounds great, but here's why I picked the movie. It appears that she will be the next victim of the killer and is to be murdered at the hands of a gorilla controlled by her devious uncle. See, that just pulls you right in.
Yeah, but it kind of ruins the whole story right there, doesn't it? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe not.
And I believe we have a themed drink to go with this movie.
Yes, we do.
Do we? Do or do we not?
We do, and we're sipping it right now.
Yes, we are. It is delicious. What would it be?
It would be the Drunken Monkey cocktail.
Sounds appropriate.
Well, it should be the Jumping Monkey cocktail because that's pretty much the extent of the acting ability of the monkey in the movie. Not to spoil anything for anyone, but...
Spoilers.
So, do you want to know the ingredients?
Yes. Well, I already know them, but our audience might want to know.
If you're following along at home, you're going to need 6 ounces of orange pineapple juice blend, 3 ounces of coconut rum, 1 ounce of spiced rum, 4 to 5 dashes of bitters, fresh ground nutmeg, maraschino cherries in juices, lime slices, and fresh pineapple wedges. Should we give them time to collect that, or can they pause?
Sure. Hold on.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Here's what you're going to do. Fill a cocktail shaker with ice and add the juice, the coconut rum, the spiced rum, and 4 to 5 shakes of the bitters. Shake for 30 seconds. Then pour into 2 ice tumblers or 1 tall glass. If you're me, you poured it into 2 ice tumblers. If you're Greg, you poured it into 1 tall glass.
One big tall glass.
Then pour in 1 to 2 teaspoons of cherry juice and let it settle at the bottom of the glass. It's so pretty. Garnish with a lime slice, pineapple wedge, and a cherry. Zest the fresh nutmeg over the top and enjoy. Are you enjoying?
I am enjoying.
Me too.
I forgot the cherry, but I have the cherry juice in there, so.
I don't think you need... Oh, yeah. I forgot the cherry too.
Whatever. It don't matter.
Losers.
It's delicious.
It is. It's tasty.
It makes me feel like jumping like a monkey.
Another reason I'm happy this isn't a vlog. Just
okay.
saying.
So shall we get into the movie?
I think we should.
So The Monster Walks. It's from 1932, and it's a black and white unrated movie. It is a pre-code black and white horror film. So that means there might be some, sex and violence and innuendo. Sadly, not enough.
Or racism, perhaps.
Perhaps. Might be a little racist, too.
Gotcha.
So the movie begins on a dark and stormy night.
Of course.
We see a bedroom with the window wide open and the curtains blowing in on the dark and stormy night while the thunder and lightning rolls. And of course, there's a dead body in the bed. And we find out that's Philip.
Poor Philip.
And then Mrs. What's her name? Krug. See, I couldn't figure out what these people's names were.
Well, Mrs. Krug.
Yes.
Who, let me just say, will look exactly like me, and I will look exactly like her in 5 years. It's like, bitch stole my look. You ever seen the Who Wore It Better?
Yes.
That's me and Mrs. Krug. I'll be there in 5 years.
Yep.
She's got a look.
Yep. So it's Mrs. Krugen, who we find out later is her son Hans, right?
Yes.
Looking over the body and whatever. And then we see invalid Uncle Robert in the wheelchair.
But wait, you have to say that they do mention multiple times how sudden this death was. Did you notice that? They kept saying how sudden it was. So they want to get you.
No, yeah, but I didn't make a note, but yeah, now that you say it, yeah, I did.
They kept saying over and over, they want you to be suspicious that perhaps something happened to poor Philip.
Poor Philip.
Yeah. And then you hear the ape too.
Yeah, you hear the ape, and they keep talking about the ape as, he's securely locked in his cage.
How many times do you think they said that? I was going to count, but I didn't.
Like
but
20.
He is locked. Yeah.
And is the ape named Yogi?
Yes.
Okay. And I made a note that we see the ape in his cage, and I made a note, jumping chimp.
Jumping monkey.
Yeah, and so something else I want to bring up. So the ape is in the title. When you start the movie, you see the ape carrying a woman, right? That's the title screen.
Okay, I don't
remember. I mean? Well, yeah, but doesn't that kind of like ruin the whole story that there's an ape?
Well, no, it's just introducing you to the characters. You can't judge a film by its cover.
That's true.
You got to just go with the flow and see what happens. He is not a gorilla, though.
No.
I'm just going to put that out there.
He's a chimp.
No, but the Horror Classics intro says the gorilla, and I was very excited by the gorilla, and I was disappointed that it was not a gorilla.
Yeah, so it made me start to wonder, you think there was like a whole like gorilla thing going on back in the mid 30s? Because King Kong, like the one that everyone knows with Fay Wray and all that, came out in 1933, right? And this came out in 1934 or 1932. So it actually predates the classic King Kong.
Possibly. I just wondered if the chimp was the same chimp that starred in all the Tarzan movies that were made around that time. Cheetah, remember? Did you ever watch those?
Yeah, he looks a little bigger than Cheetah.
Oh.
He's a big chimpanzee.
Well, they were going for gorilla. They just didn't quite get there.
But it was a real chimpanzee, from what I could tell.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So then then Ruth and her boyfriend, Dr. Ted Carver, arrive with their driver, Exodus.
Yeah.
So talk about Exodus for a second.
Exodus is unfortunate. First of all, there's no reason to have that character whatsoever. He plays no role whatsoever in the whole movie. And
I think he was there for comic relief, but
yeah. Well, the whole movie was kind of comic relief. They didn't really need him, but he's portrayed in a racist light.
Yeah, we should say that Exodus is African American.
Yes, right? and not portrayed in a flattering light.
He's credited as Sleep and Eat is his name in the credits. Sleep and Eat.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, his real name is Willie Best. So
he should have gone with Willie Best.
Yes, he should have gone with Willie Best. You have any idea why the character would be named Exodus? I meant to look this up and didn't.
No, except that he drives them away. I mean, he's their way out.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know.
That's
do you want to investigate?
Maybe we should see what. Yeah. Hold on. So I got nothing for Exodus other than he drives them away. So
points for me.
Karen, congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm ahead in the game.
Yes. So then Ruth arrives with her boyfriend, and I made a note that they reference Ruth having tremendous strength. Did you hear that at all?
No, I just noticed her shoes. So I like shoes.
What kind of shoes was she wearing?
Very pretty pumps, like 1930s pumps. So vintage shoes. I noticed nice shoes.
Yes, I'm sure you could see them quite a bit as she moved around the room quite deliberately.
Yes, they all moved deliberately. Did you notice?
And we should say that this is just after silent film, so a lot of these actors were silent film actors before they became talkie actors. So I didn't notice they moved around very deliberately.
With lots of facial expressions.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't what I'd call natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I did notice her shoes. She was not a woman of strength, though.
Well, that's what they said. And then it starts storming more. And Dr. Wilkes said that,
Mr. Wilkes is the lawyer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm getting all confused.
But
so Mr. Wilkes decides he's going to stay the night. Right. So they want to prepare a room for him. But they make a point to say, yeah, prepare a room for him in the other side of the house, other end of the house.
Yes.
Away from everyone else.
Very subtle.
That's right. And then, like I said, Ruth and her boyfriend, Dr. Ted Carver.
Who I think looks like Leonardo DiCaprio. Did you notice that? I don't know if it was the eyebrows or what, but he definitely looks like Leonardo.
I'll take your word for it. So, as I said, they arrive. Ruth runs up to her father's bedroom, right? It's her father that passed away, right?
Yes.
And the window is still open. I made a note. Yes, the window is still open.
During the storm.
And then I have a note said, yes, very sudden. So they keep saying he passed very suddenly.
Right. To get your suspicions up.
Right. Did we ever hear what he passed of or no? I don't think we did.
No, they did call him a mad scientist, though, which I liked.
Yeah. Well, he has an ape in his basement in a cage.
It kind of qualifies you right away.
Yep. Then what happens? I have a note. Ruth's bedroom. I'm going to tell them. And then.
Oh, that's Hans.
No, wait. We might
be rich.
Yeah. So, there's something afoot here. There's some shady business afoot here.
Yes. The servants have some shadiness going on. But Yogi started screaming again.
Of course.
And they again mentioned that he's secure in his cage.
Yeah. And did they cut to Exodus? Because they seem to cut to Exodus every time Yogi screams. I noticed. I
did not pay attention to that. I was mortified. So I just tried to ignore it. But yeah, they say he won't escape. And the guy spends the night. I have shoes with lots of circles around it.
So we know where your head is at.
Yes.
Okay, so then we're on to scene 2, at least on the DVD, if you go by scene. Scene 2 is the doctor comes out and tells Exodus to get the bags out of their car and that they're going to spend the night.
Yes.
And Exodus, I don't think is very happy. He wants to walk to, I think he says a mini golf course or something.
Or the movies or something.
Yes.
And it's like, what is it, 11 miles away or something?
Yeah.
Or
then we go into the parlor or whatever, and they're going to start reading the will. Mr. Wilkes, who's the lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starts reading the will. And so turns out that $50,000 goes to Ruth, the daughter, and all of the deceased stakes in whatever bank he was. They mentioned a bank, so he must have been a banker or something.
Would you like to know what $50,000 is today?
Yeah, in 1932 money. Yeah, what would that be in today's money?
Well, I looked it up as 1925 because that's when they said the will was made.
Okay.
He says on this day, whatever, 1925. So $50,000 today is $751,000.
It's a nice.
It's a chunk
Of change.
But she's pretty young. It's not like she probably couldn't live on that forever, but she's marrying that Leonardo DiCaprio doctor. So
and she has tremendous strength.
She's marrying the Leonardo DiCaprio doctor. So she's going to be okay. Yeah. So she'll be okay.
She's marrying a doctor who seems to know what's going on.
All doctors think they know.
Like he figures it out like from Jump Street, right? Did you get that feeling?
Well, someone has to. It seems like he's the only one not targeted.
Right.
But anyway.
And so all that money goes to Ruth. And then if she should happen to pass, it goes to Philip's brother, the invalid Uncle Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
well, Mrs. Krug gets
Emma Krug.
Oh, is it Emma?
It is Emma.
You would notice that.
I would notice that. Yes.
Yes.
She gets $50 a month until her death.
Do you want to know how much that is?
Yeah, $50.
Well, you can kind of figure it out from the 50,000 to 50, but it's $751.
So
a
she's
month.
getting $750 a month until the day
Yeah.
she dies. And
Which I
poor
was trying.
Hans gets nothing.
No.
Poor Hans.
Yeah. Not as poor as Philip. Poor Philip, but
Yeah, Phil. Well, yeah. Or even
750.
poor Uncle Robert. He gets nothing unless Ruth dies.
Well, no, he gets a stipend. They have to take care of him.
That's true.
I mean, they can't just ditch him.
Right.
But $750 a month. I was trying to figure out if that was it. They are disappointed, obviously. But what does that mean? I mean, does she pay rent in the house? She lives there, obviously.
I'm sure she lives there free. She's the
rent
caretaker.
free. She's rent free, food free. She doesn't have a car payment. Right.
Right.
Or insurance.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not saying $750 a month is a lot, but it's not nothing.
Right.
I mean, but she's worked there 20 years. So I agree. She probably could have she's given up her whole life for them. The guy said so.
And then as soon as I read the will, I made a note. The doctor knows what's up. He already knows. He already suspects some foul play is about to happen this evening.
Why don't they go away?
Well, why don't they just get in their car and go? So then we go to Ruth's
Why
bedroom.
don't they exodus? Sorry. Make an exodus.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. So then they go to Ruth's bedroom.
Which is huge.
It is huge.
It is.
And there's a picture on the wall.
Yes. That was subtle.
Yes. It keeps moving in the background. And if you didn't see it, then they zoom in on it. So you're sure to see that the picture is moving and there's a hole behind it. And I assume someone is eyeballing. Someone is peeping.
Yes. But it doesn't show us the eyeball because they don't want us to know if it's Yogi or someone else.
Yep.
Oh, wait, but you forgot to say that the house is very old and it was used by smugglers.
Oh.
So there are lots of tunnels.
Yes.
In the house.
And hidden passages.
Hidden passages because that plays an important role. So that was dropped. That was dropped by multiple times. But then they reassure us that they've all been sealed up. Yes.
Because, the monkey, of course, the monkey knew all of them.
Right.
Well, and sometimes he would show up and they would say, "Oh, that's just Yogi."
Yeah. As a monkey does.
That's just Yogi being Yogi.
Yeah. They forgive him.
And then the doctor leaves Ruth, right? And he goes to his bedroom. But before he leaves, they have this conversation about an apple a day. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know why he doesn't want her to have an apple?
Why? That's why I want to know. Yeah, I made a note. Why? Strictly forbidden, he says.
Because what does an apple a day do?
Oh.
And he's a doctor.
That's right.
So he doesn't want her to have an apple. See, it's so romantic.
It is. Yeah, it all makes sense now. I made a note like, what the hell is that all about? No apples?
You're such a man. What's that mean? Flew right over your head.
It did. It totally did. Right. Then we cut to scene. Now, next is scene 3 on the DVD. So doctor retires the room, starts reading a book.
Wait, did you notice he just took off his suit jacket and put his robe over his full suit? Yeah,
that's what they did in the 30s, I think.
Is it?
That's every movie I've seen. That's what they do.
The smoking robe?
Yeah, the smoking jacket. Just like Hugh.
Okay. I'll have to research the origins of the smoking jacket, but okay. Yeah.
So the doctor retires the room, starts reading a book. And then we see Emma Krug and Hans downstairs, and Emma Krug tells Hans, lock and bolt every door and window.
And he says, why? The money's not here.
And she says, she's not worried about the money, right?
Yeah, so Emma's a good girl. She's a good soul.
Yeah, I don't think she's in on it. Do you?
No.
Okay, good.
I think that was to establish that she doesn't care about the money.
She's happy with her $750 in today's money a month.
For killing herself to take care of these ingrates.
Then the clock strikes 12.
And they made it stay the entire 12 chimes.
Well, just to be sure. Just so
you were sure, because it was zoomed in on the midnight.
They do kind of hit you over the head with things, I've noticed.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're in Ruth's bedroom again, and an ape hand closes the door and sniffs out a candle, right?
Yes.
So we see a hand, a hairy hand, arm, we assume is an ape, close the door and snuff out a candle. Even though they have electricity in the house, I noticed like they're flipping on lights the whole time, but apparently they have one candle.
Well, maybe it smelled nice. Maybe it was scented. Maybe it was lavenders to relax her to go to sleep.
Maybe it was. And then the hand comes out from behind the headboard where Ruth is sleeping. And the doctor is still reading.
At midnight.
Yeah. And I made a note that we are 31 minutes in to this movie, which is how long is this movie? It's like an hour, right? Pretty much 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're 31 minutes in. How many dead bodies do we have?
Just poor Philip.
Just poor Philip. Just one.
It's going to pick up. The bodies are going to hit the floor as the song goes.
So then I noticed they keep wanting to give Ruth drugs.
Yeah, that's what they did.
They keep asking the doctor to give Ruth drugs to like calm her and ease her pain and whatever.
Well, her dad did just pass. So, she might be a little, you kind of forget that in the whole story. But, most people would be a little emotional sleeping across the hall from the dead body of your father. might flip you out a little bit,
Yeah, so I believe that Emma Krug says that she will come in and sleep in the bed with Ruth. Is that the deal?
Not until after the
just
monkey.
Like she did when she was younger, right? After the monkey.
You got to tell him the monkey tries. Go ahead. What does the monkey? You didn't tell him.
I said the hand comes out from the headboard
and tries to strangle
her.
Yeah.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, and then they all try to tell her she had a nightmare.
So then Emma Krug says, I will sleep with you just like I did when you were a child, right?
Yes, but the doctor does make up something to soothe her nerves.
Right. Which and then I made a note. Emma Krug takes a drink and thunders. There's a big thunder roll as soon as she takes a drink.
But wouldn't you like to be married to a doctor who carries around magical medicines that can soothe you?
I don't have to be a doctor. Just anyone who carries magical medicines that can soothe me.
That's true. But on the
I don't care about their credentials.
On the up and up, it would be a doctor.
Sure.
One that looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, but whatever.
Yeah. So the doctor talks to Mr. Wilkes, the lawyer, down there where they read the will in front of the fireplace. And he grabs a cigar and starts like smelling it. And did you see that?
He's stoking the suspicions because
he's trying to. You think he's seeing how old the cigar is? And
no, it wasn't smoked. And Mr. Wilkes said, I'm going to stay down here and smoke the cigar.
Okay.
And he didn't smoke it. And then when he asks him what he was doing down here, he said, well, I was smoking my cigar, but the cigar is just on top of the fireplace, unsmoken.
Right.
I don't know.
And then Wilkes and the doctor have a conversation, and Wilkes mentions that Hans would know all about the secret passages.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we hear the violin.
Yeah, it's very sad.
It's playing a lullaby, right? Lullaby.
Yeah.
So they go to Hans' room, for some reason, his door has a big
window,
glass, frosted glass in it, right? And they see him playing, the shadow of him playing this lullaby. And I made a note that the doctor's he's a little bossy. Like tells him, that's all you may go. Go.
Oh, to Exodus.
Yeah.
And to other people. Yes, he's very.
And then I made another note that we're 41 minutes in at this point. And how many dead bodies do we have?
Just poor Philip.
There's 20 minutes left in the movie. And we have no dead bodies except for the guy we saw in scene 1.
But wait for it.
I know. I was getting impatient.
Well, then what happens, Greg?
Well, we hear that Robert hasn't walked in over a year because Dr. Ted Carver is questioning, well, how long has Robert been an invalid? And So he's kind of suspicious of Robert, and he wants to check him out, right? To
Well,
be
now
sure he's an invalid.
He's suspicious of Mr. Wilkes because of the cigar.
Yep.
Now he's suspicious of Robert.
Yep.
He's pulling us along to be suspicious of all these people.
That's right. And then we're 43 minutes in, and finally, what happens?
Well, I don't want to spoil it. You go ahead and say.
The ape hand comes out from behind the headboard again.
Wait, Mrs. Krug.
She's asleep.
I think she calls her Auntie Krug, maybe.
Right.
Says that she will sleep with her like she used to when she was little.
Mm-hmm.
And she does, like you said, drink the magical elixir.
And the thunder rolls.
And then she's asleep. But Ruth isn't in the bed. Ruth is reading in the other half of the bedroom that was as big as my house.
Yeah, she is in the
and she falls asleep in the
portion of the bedroom.
Yes. And she falls asleep. Okay, then what happens?
Then an ape hand comes from behind the headboard.
Wait, one more thing.
Yes.
When they originally searched the room, when Ted searched the room after the first time, he never looked behind the bed. Did you notice that? He looked under the bed, but there are passages. Anyway, she said where it came from. You'd think that might be the first place you would look.
You would think.
But that would ruin it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but maybe Dr. Ted isn't so smart for being a doctor.
Maybe not.
Even though he's already got it all figured out.
Yep.
So then the ape hand comes out, grabs the neck of Emma Krug, and strangles her until she is dead.
Do you think that's why they made her drink the magical elixir? So she was passive?
Maybe. She didn't struggle much.
No, she didn't.
No.
And it didn't take much to strangle her.
Nope, it didn't. Well, she was elderly.
Me in 5 years. Me in 5 years, just saying.
All right, so now we're up to scene 4.
And Greg is happy because there's a second body. Poor Emma.
Oh, yeah. It's about time. I have a remote. 43 minutes. The ape strangles Emma Krug. 43 minutes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Scene 4. Wilkes checks on Robert. Robert is sleeping.
Oh, wait. When Ruth finds Mrs. Krug and runs out into the hallway wearing heels.
Well, no, she doesn't. I made a note. She doesn't exactly run.
Well, she's in heels.
She slowly backs out of the room.
Oh, she does. That's correct. She does.
Doesn't scream. Makes no sound. Slowly backs out of the room.
That comes from the
silent movie.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely.
We can't hear her scream, but she slowly backs out like she's in shock or whatever.
But in lovely heels again. Just saying.
Well, she's just doing some light reading, wants to be comfortable.
Right.
Getting ready for bed.
Right. As you do.
Yeah. So I might note here that the doctor seems to know that Ruth was the intended victim.
He says that a lot.
Yep. And Uncle Robert was very shocked, I noticed, to see Ruth alive when they go into Dr. Robert's room to check on him.
And Ruth again says to Ted for the about millionth time, please take me away. Take me away. Why don't they just go away?
Yeah, they already know what they're getting, right? They don't have to stay to collect.
Yeah, I would leave.
Yeah.
If my death gave the rest of the people in the room the money, I think I would leave.
Yeah. So then, when Ruth walks in the room,
right,
the Dr. Ted is checking on invalid Uncle Robert and is taking his pulse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says his pulse stopped when he saw Ruth
for a few beats.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Like, he's dead.
Yes.
I thought we had another dead body for a second.
I'm a little concerned at Ted's doctoring abilities at this point.
Yeah, I made a note. Shouldn't it have sped up? Shouldn't his pulse have quickened?
Yes.
He was like, oh shit.
That would have been better than dead.
Yeah. So then Hans comes back in to the picture and says, figures out that he killed his mother, right? Of course, he's the ape. Spoiler. Hans is the ape.
Yeah, I guess you figure it out at this point.
Yeah. And he finds out that he killed his own mother.
That's a big drag.
Yeah. And then what does he do? He kills Uncle. He
Wait,
kills his uncle too.
but no. First, he overacts and walks like Frankenstein from the room.
I might have more to say about this later.
Okay. He walks, I don't know, like Nosferatu or something, into Uncle Robert's room. And that's where we find out the plot.
Yep.
The plot against
Poor
Ruth. Yeah.
Ruth, who has tremendous strength.
Okay.
That's what they said. I don't know.
Okay. So we find out the plan and so invalid Uncle Robert was the mastermind, is what it comes down to.
Yes, because he's next in line. If something happens to Ruth, he gets that $50,000 in 1932 money.
Right.
Yep. So Hans kills him, right?
Because
he killed his mom.
well, now he killed his dad.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
we learn right now that he is also that invalid Uncle Robert is Hans's father.
yes.
So Robert and Emma had a thing, apparently.
Well, obviously, not apparently. I think there's actual proof. But why? I don't know exactly why he killed him. And now he's killed both his parents. But anyway, okay. So
someone goes downstairs. Who is it? Is it Hans?
well, there aren't many people left now.
Oh. And I made a note that Exodus says that going to be another dead one.
Because he goes downstairs.
Yeah.
But Hans
To check on the monkey.
Oh, so Hans sends the doc up to Robert.
Okay.
So they get Robert and Wilkes. Oh, sorry. They get Robert and Wilkes out of the room to go check on Robert. Does Hans tell them something happened to Robert? I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
And then Hans basically hog ties Ruth.
Yep. Takes her down to the chimp cage.
Yep. Where he's still securely fastened.
Yep.
But then did you notice? So then Robert confesses.
Right.
Invalid Robert confesses.
Right. So he's not dead yet.
No.
He's not quite dead yet.
But then he does expire.
Yes. Don't they like give him a glass of water? Because that always revives you when you're
Yeah.
near death.
I'm not sure why he died, because he was breathing again and he was choked, but he dies. So
Yeah.
what time is it? Because our body count is tripled.
I didn't make a note,
No,
but it's
well,
almost near the end. We only have like a few minutes left in the whole thing. So the uncle confesses. Then we hear the lullaby violin music again.
Yeah, and they realize, because Robert confesses that now Hans has Ruth.
Yep.
But did you notice the lullaby, right? And he has the window.
Yep.
So they use the Home Alone trick where they
I've
remember
never seen Home Alone.
well, he made it look like there were a bunch of people in the house using
Yeah.
shadows.
Yeah, like on a phonograph.
Yeah, and so they moved around.
Yeah.
So
So that's what Hans is doing. It's pretty clever, right?
yeah, so you think
Even
he's
makes it
in
look
there.
like the shadow is playing the violin
Yeah, that was clever.
somehow. So we
I
finally
don't know how he did that.
Yeah. So we see the phonograph or the gramophone, whatever they called it in 1932, playing the lullaby and a little paper silhouette. So they figure out Hans wasn't playing that. He's been free to roam around the house all night while everyone thought he was in his room playing the violin, right?
Yes. And they also realize Ruth is no longer Ruth and Hans are no longer in the sitting room.
Yeah. So Hans ties Ruth to the pole down there next to the chimp. And that's kind of the pre-code part from what I've read on other sites that was they wouldn't do that post-code. They wouldn't show her all tied up and bound and
Oh, they wouldn't.
No, apparently not. But since it's pre-code, they would do that.
Huh.
I know. And then Hans starts teasing the ape with a whip.
Yeah, he's whipping him, but it's not really going into the cage.
No, he's whipping the bottom of that cage.
Why?
I'm not sure what he's doing.
I don't understand it either.
I think he's trying to get the ape all riled up, and then he's going to unlock him or something and let him.
But how much time does he think he has?
I don't know.
I mean, they're going to figure out Robert's dead in about 30 seconds and come and find him. So it seems like this was I don't know.
Yeah. So then Yogi, that's his name, right?
Yogi.
Yeah. So Yogi the ape grabs the whip and pulls Hans in because Hans, of course, has the whip wrapped around his wrist and he can't get loose of it, right?
Poor planning.
Yeah. And he pulls Hans in and then he reaches out, grabs Hans by the neck and suffocates him until he is dead, right?
And our body count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there 5?
So we got poor Philip, we got poor Emma, we got poor Uncle Robert, and now we have poor Hans. So that's 4.
4. Okay.
4 dead bodies. And that's pretty much the end of the movie, isn't it?
They rescue Ruth from the pole. They don't leave her.
Yeah, they don't leave her there.
She is rescued. But I have questions.
Do we want to talk about the last line, the final line of the movie?
You can talk about the final line.
So who mentions Darwin? Is it the lawyer?
I think it is. Yeah, you would think it'd be the doctor, but I think it was the lawyer.
I think it's the lawyer. He mentions the Darwinian theory that man evolved from apes, right? And he's talking to poor Exodus, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, poor Exodus. Exodus isn't dead.
No, he's not
saying poor in front of everyone who's dead. Exodus is not dead.
No, Exodus survives.
Yes. And Exodus says, "You mean that monkey's related to me," or something like that?
Right. And he says, "My grandpappy looked like him, but wasn't as active."
Yeah, I was a bit appalled by that.
That wouldn't fly, I don't think.
No.
That wouldn't fly since probably
Code? No, there was still bad stuff in that after that, but not today anyway.
Yeah, not for years. There probably wouldn't.
Which I'm
and
glad.
that's when that fade to black film's over.
I know. Like I said, I have questions. What happens to Yogi? I mean,
Yeah. No one left to take care of him, is there? Except Ruth. And we
Ruth
already know that they have an issue with
they
each
don't
other.
like each other. So, that's an issue. I don't know. But
What'd you think of the soundtrack?
was there a soundtrack?
There was no soundtrack.
Okay, good. I didn't notice one. It was just a lot of thunder.
The only music was the lullaby.
Okay.
But there are 2 music credits. Music by. There are 2 credits. Probably the title music, I guess.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I will say choosing this movie explains why when I was in graduate school, I was banned from going to Blockbuster Video by myself because of what I would bring home to watch with my friends. I was not allowed to go by myself.
And we should mention that this is a you can watch this on YouTube. It's the copyright's expired. It's in the public domain. So if you want to watch it, even though we spoiled it for you and pretty much told you it's terrible, you can.
Did we say it was terrible?
I don't think we did, but I just did.
Well, okay, but I'm going to tell you what I was pleasantly surprised
All right.
by.
Yeah. Pleasantly
Okay.
surprised. What were you pleasantly surprised by?
I was pleasantly surprised that the ape in the movie was not a man in a suit. Weren't you kind of expecting a man in a suit?
I agree. You could tell it was a real ape.
It was real. And besides Exodus, I'll say the main thing I was disappointed by was the monkey never escaped. After they told me 52 times how securely fastened that lock was, I expected.
Yeah.
They set me up.
Right.
And they got me. Really. There wasn't a whole lot to figure out in this movie.
Nope.
But that one, it got me. I was expecting the ape to get away and just show up, as apes do when you have them in the basement.
Yes. So I was pleasantly surprised by the actor who played Hans and how he moved. Like
You
we're
are
referencing.
kidding me.
Oh, I made a note of it.
It was horrible. You liked that?
Yeah, but it got worse as it went along. But it was very good at the beginning. You could tell. I guess it's from the silent film because he was very moving his body. The way he moves, finds his mother's body, breaks down, and it was all without
saying anything.
Yeah,
but
I got it. I understood. Right.
I thought it was distracting, but that's
And the way he rises from his mother's body, and of course the lightning and everything's going off too. I like that scene for some reason.
Hmm. Hmm.
And very disappointed in. What was I very disappointed in? I can't pick
Ugh.
one thing.
There was a lot.
There was a lot. I was disappointed that it took, what did I say?
Yeah, you were disappointed at 34 minutes or what?
41 minutes, no one killed yet. And then finally at 43 minutes, someone was killed.
Not that that's all we look for in a horror movie.
No, but it took like 3/4 of the movie before someone actually got killed.
There was a lot of setup. They were trying to throw you off a lot, like saying the monkey was secure and then making sure that the doctor made you think that everybody was suspicious. In today's movies, that would have made him the guilty one, because he was pointing it out that everyone else had motive. Although he was getting the $50,000, let's be honest. In 1925, I don't know how much control Ruth would have.
Well, they're just boyfriend and girlfriend. They're not married.
They're fiancé, though.
Well,
It says in the note it's her fiance. He's staying with her now. She's got $50,000.
but they're not, connected like legally or anything. She could like move on from him and find herself a young pool boy or something.
True. Keep your options open, Ruth.
Yep.
Shop around, as they say.
So, what do you think of the drink?
I like it. I think you could drink too many of them.
I like it.
I think it would hit you after a while.
I like the nutmeg, but I think I might put a little too much in mine.
Oh. It is very coconutty.
Yeah, coconut and nutmeg, that probably goes good together, right?
Yeah, I would guess. Here, let's sound effects, because we're a classy operation.
You have ice in yours.
It said put ice in it.
No, you put ice in the shaker and then you pour it into a glass. An iced glass, not a glass with ice.
What's an iced glass?
It's an ice that you put in the freezer.
It is.
I think so.
Investigate.
Hold on. Chill glassware for cocktails. You put them in the freezer.
Dang it. Well,
that's what you do.
Okay, you won that one.
So, as it turns out, I was right. An ice glass is a glass that is frozen for cocktails.
Well, you can tell who drinks and who doesn't.
I'm a beer guy. I don't drink these frou-frou fancy cocktail drinks.
That's true. Well, obviously, neither do I. So.
Hey, that's why we're doing this, to broaden our horizons. And
we
learn.
are purely educational. See,
yes.
When you listen to this, it's educational.
So, Karen, what have we learned from this movie? What are the lessons we can take away from this?
Well, I don't know if it's a lesson, but we did drop some knowledge on the peeps.
Yeah.
That, in case you ever need it, you'll know that $50,000 in 1925 is now worth $751,000 in today's money. So, that's a good piece of trivia to drop at a cocktail party.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
Well, I don't want to admit it, but we did learn what an iced glass was, if you'd like to tell.
Yeah. An iced glass is a glass that is frozen or chilled for use in cocktails.
Not filled with ice, I thought.
Not filled with ice.
So,
and we also learned that Karen likes shoes.
Yes, well, that's true. I do. And Greg likes dead bodies.
Well,
in movies.
Yeah.
Let's clarify. Ting.
Correct. So, our upcoming movie and drink on the next episode of the Scary Spirits podcast will be
chosen by Greg.
Oh, it's my choice.
Yes.
So the movie is going to be Dementia 13, which is from 1963, which was, the first major film written and directed by Francis Coppola. Coppola?
Coppola. Have you
Coppola.
seen it before?
I have not seen it. I don't think.
I've never even heard of it, so it will
Right.
be.
And the
Yeah.
drink we're going to make is called an Irish Wake.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. So for our next podcast, if you'd like to drink along with us, as we discussed Dementia 13, you would like to make your own Irish Wake, you'll need some gold rum, some white rum, some Bacardi 151, which you can't get anymore, so don't even try. So just use more white rum, and some blue Caracal and orange juice.
Okay.
Right? Caracal? Did I say that right?
I think we established that I'm not going to know the answer to
Yeah,
that.
I don't either, but it sounds right. It looks right. So, Karen, we want to thank everyone for listening to the Scary Spirits podcast. I do want to send a special thank you to the band Verse 13 for letting us use their music in our podcast. And I will include a link to their website and information in the show notes. So thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and please drink responsibly.
Yes.
If you like what you heard today, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Look for us on Facebook at Scary Spirits Podcast. Email us at scaryspiritspodcast@gmail.com or check out the website, scaryspirits.com. And if you really want to help us out, give us a 5-star review. Thanks for listening.